Okay, so let's see. So we are getting the first character, and then we are checking to see if it's equal to y, right? So we ask the user, do you want to roll again to accumulate points? Now we are not going to basically so let's see. We are not going to roll here. Okay, this is only just asking. Once we ask the user over here, it's going to come back up here, and then let's roll actually. Let's roll. Okay, let's roll, and then we allow the computer to roll next. Okay, so basically the computer just roll, and then it's our turn now. We said yes, so it's our turn. So let's go ahead and roll. So now player one dot roll dice, and then the computer is going to roll again. So that's the computer's turn now. That's the computer's turn now. He's the one playing first now. So he rolls again, and then we get a message. The computer just roll. Do you want to accumulate points? So that's our turn now. If we say yes, we play again as here as y. Because play again is going to be y. As long as the point is less than or equal to 21, we are going to roll, and then the computer is going to roll again, and then we keep on going. We can display a message over here and saying that you just roll, and you see, you have a sense of how this program works. Okay, so basically this loop is going to take care of the game, right? Once we are done, once this loop exits, we want to check to see the goal of this program is to basically have the most points, okay, based on your roll, based on your die value, your total die value. Have the most points. So let's delete this. We don't need this. Was just for practice. Have the most points without exceeding 21. Whoever has the most points without exceeding 21 wins the game. Right? The program didn't really provide more details. What if someone had less points? Okay, what if someone had less points, but then the other player exceeded, let's say, well, okay, if someone exceeded, let's say 21, then the player with less points actually won. Now, what if both of them exceeded 21? It can happen because let's assuming someone has 20 points and they hit yes and they roll, well, they'll go to, let's say, 25, and the computer can also go to 25. So what if both of them exceed 21? The question is not clear. Like I said, this game it's not something I've ever played before or even seen before, but we're trying to at least make some sense out of it, right? So let's now check. After we're done, let's now check with an if statement and say that. Now, if you read the question, you get a requirement also. Like I said, the goal is to have the most points without exceeding 21. So let's start with the first conditions. So if player one, let's start with the player one. If player one dot get total value, so if the total value of player one, is greater than the total value of the computer, is greater than the total value of the computer, okay, then you can think that the player one won, right? But at the same time, the player one's value has to be less than 21, less than or equal to 21 to be able to win, right? So if player one's value is greater than the computer's value, and at the same time, so let's go ahead and surround this condition with parentheses, so it evaluates to either true or false. And at the same time, with another parenthesis here too. And at the same time, the player one's value, let's paste this. I almost finished typing it, but let me just paste it. And at the same time, player one's value is less than or equal to 21. Then in that case, then the player one wins, right? But we are not done yet. We'll get to it. We'll come back to this. But let's just stick with this for now, and I'll explain why we're not done. So in that case, let's just say that player one won with a total off. Now let's go ahead and display the point, and the point is going to be player 1 dot get total value. And then let's also display the computer's point and say computer had, let's concatenate this, break it here, and then display the computer's value also. So now we're done with this if statement. Let's just compile this and see if we have errors. When we do, let's see, cannot find symbol get total value. It's supposed to be get total die value over here and not get total value. So get total die value, same thing for all of them. Okay, same thing here too. Okay, compile this. Same thing here. Again, we're good. So let's run this and see. It says you just roll. Well, for now let's add because the question said we should hide the computer's value, right? It said we should hide the computer's value. So let's display ours. It says so we can see it. So player 1, so let's say you just roll and your current and your total value so far is, let's concatenate it to the player 1 dot get total value, get total die value. Okay, so compile this and then run, and it says you just roll and your total value so far is 7. The computer just roll, but it's not showing us the computer's value, right? Do you want to roll to accumulate? I'll change this to accumulate point. If I hit no, let's see what it says. Nothing. That's because we don't have a condition for the else part, right? So let's fix that part. So if the player 1's value is not so if this is not the case, another case is going to be if the computer, so it's going to be something similar to this. Another case is going to be, hold on, if the computer's total value is greater than the player's, or player 1 total value, and at the same time the computer's total value is less than or equal to 21. All right, so that's going to be another condition. If that's the case also, all right, so if that's the case also, then let's go ahead and display a different message and say computer 1 with the total of computer dot get total value, player had, or player 1 had player dot get total die value. Let's have a problem. Cannot find symbol variable player 1. This is supposed to be player 1. Okay, all right, you just roll and your total value so far is 2. If I say no, I don't want to roll again, now it says the computer 1 with a total of 7, player 1 had 2. Let's just move this player 1 just so it's not confusing. Let's try again. Okay, so you just roll and your total value so far is 6. If I say no and the computer's value is less than mine, then I win, because I have more than the computer while my value is still less than or equal to 21. So if I hit no, now the computer won, because now the computer won with a total of 9. The computer had more than me while his number was less than or equal to 21. So let's try something else. Right? So I'm going to hit yes, okay, and hit and roll again. And now it says you just roll and your total value so far is 14. It's gone up. I don't know the computer's value yet, but if I hit no, it says player 1 won with a total of 14. Computer had 13, which makes sense, right? Which makes sense because I had more than the computer, while my value was less than or equal to 22. So let's try some more, and then we'll come to a certain. So over here, if I hit yes, I've accumulated to 16. I hit yes again, I've accumulated to 18. I don't know the computer's value yet, so hit no. Let's see. Nothing happens. It's possible that the computer also has 18. So we don't have another condition for when it's equal, when they're both equal. So let's do that. Let's say else if, because there could be multiple conditions. So else if else if computer.get total value is equivalent to the player 1.get total value, then let's display a message saying, it was a tie or something. It was a tie. Let's say it was a tie over here. It was a tie with the computer getting a total of, let's break it somewhere here, with the computer getting a total of this and the player getting player. Okay, so let's try this. Let's try again. Roll it again. 15. Hit no, and nothing happens. Okay, so let's see what's wrong here. Player 1's value is greater than the computer's value, and player 1's value is less than or equal to 21. Okay, if the computer's value is less than the player's value and the computer's value is less than or equal to 21, so that's true. So there can be another condition. For example, there can be let's see. So there can be a condition where for example, let's say the computer's value exceeds, let's say, so over here, let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it a couple of times just to make sure that it's good. I hit no. Computer 1. Okay, so that's good. And we'll come across the other cases very soon. So let's go ahead and roll again here. 12. Hit no. Computer 1 with total of 14. Roll here. I hit yes. Okay, so this is the other case, because over here we said that display this message only when if the player indeed really won, if the player's value is greater than the computer's value, if the player indeed really won and their value is less than or equal to 21, then go ahead and display it. But in this case, it's possible because over here we can see that the player's value is 24, right? So it's not going to go ahead and display this. Because this is only going to be displayed only when the player's value is greater than the computer's value, while it's less than or equal to 21. And then this is only going to display a win for the computer only when the computer's value is greater than the player's value, and at the same time it's less than or equal to 21. There can be a case where the player can win, right? When even if the player's value is less than the computer's value, right? But at the same time, the computer's value is greater than or equal to 21. So just imagine if the player is let's say has 18, but the computer has, let's say, 24. Because the computer has already exceeded 21, I mean, you can't help but give it to the player, because the player has less than 21. Although, they have, when you compare 18 and 24, it's less. But I hope you understand me here. So let's go ahead and add some more conditions to these values here. This is one condition. The first condition is the player is going to have a value more than the computer while having a score less than or equal to 21. There can also be another condition where the player's value is less than the computer's value, but the computer's value is greater than or equal to 21. So that's the condition I was just talking about. So let's go ahead and add those conditions, and then we'll be fine. So I'm going to surround all this with parentheses here. All of this with parentheses. So that's going to be one condition, and we're going to create another logical condition here. So let's add another one here, and then create a logical condition. So that's one condition. This whole thing is one condition here. So let's break this down here and create another one. So I'm going to go ahead and copy everything that's in here, paste it here. Actually, just highlight all of this. So the player's value can be less than the computer's value. Okay, but the player will win only when the computer's value is greater than or equal to 21. Same thing for this. So let's go ahead over here and highlight, or basically surround all of this with parentheses. Then now we have the whole thing. So create the logical OR here, break it here, then copy everything that's in the if statement here, paste that, and then say the computer can win even when its value is less than the player's value, but the player's value is greater than or equal to, it's greater than 21, not greater than or equal to, greater than 21. If it's greater than 21, then they have lost, even though the other player has less. So for example, over here, even though the player has less, because the computer is greater than 21, they've lost. The computer has lost. Over here, even though the computer has less, because the player's value is greater than 21, then the player has lost and the computer has won. So that's the other condition we added here. And let's just try this. Okay, so let's see. Expected. Let's just make sure that we indented. Okay, so I think I need to close. Hold on. Let me just make sure that I'm doing things right here. Right, so this is for this. And just one moment. Okay, we will probably wouldn't need this here. I'm going to put the logical all here, copy all of this, cut it and paste it here. Okay, I think I'm messing up the structure of it, so hold on a second. I'll undo this and then I'll figure it out here. Okay, so this is the full one. So this looks fine. We need to close it here. All right, so I think I messed up the parentheses. All right, so let me just take my time here and fix it. First of all, I'll just go ahead and undo it and do a bit of them here. All right, so let's see. Okay. All right, so I think this is working. All right, so if player one would get, okay. So this whole thing is here. All right. Okay, so I'm going to surround all of this with parentheses like that. And then now this whole thing becomes 1. And my logical OR is going to come here. I'm going to copy this whole, let's see, whole logical OR here. Break it here, paste it, and say if player 1's total value is less than the computer value, and at the same time the computer value is greater than 21, then the player won. Compile this and you're fine. Do the same thing for this. Surround it with parentheses. This whole thing becomes 1. All right. Logical all comes here. Copy everything that's in here, and then break it somewhere around here. Paste it and change things around and say if the computer value is less than the player value, and at the same time the player value is greater than 21, then the computer won. If it's equal, then it was a tie. All right. And else there can be a possibility that, you know, let's just work with this for now. Okay, I think I didn't close it. Cannot find symbol variable player. All right, this is player 1, not player 1. Okay, so now let's run it and see if we're going to have it fixed. So you just roll and your total value is 10. If I hit no, player 1 won with a total of 10, computer has 6. Makes sense, right? Makes sense. Let's just go ahead and say player. Let's try again. Hit no. Computer 1 with a total of 11, player had 3. That's also correct. Hit no. Computer 1 with a total of 9, player had 3. All right, let's try to roll again. I'm going to hit yes to roll again. So my total is 18. I don't know the computer's value yet. I'm going to say no and hit OK. Player 1 with a total of 18, computer had 5. That's also correct, right? Let's run this again. This time roll again. My value is 21, right? I hit no, and let's see what happens. Player 1 with a total of 21, computer had 32. So because the computer was way over, and I hit 21, and I didn't exceed 21, I won. So that's also correct. That also makes sense. So let's run this again. Keep rolling. Now, because the computer exceeded 25, see over here, when I was checking over here, the computer exceeded 21. So the computer was at 25. It exited. So even though, so the second condition we added over here is taking effect right now. Even though I have less than the computer, 14 is less than 25. Because the computer has exceeded 21, I've won. Now the program didn't, or the question didn't actually necessarily say that, right? But that's when you think about it in a real game, that's how it should work. It makes sense. It's fair for you to do that, right? So even though I had less, the player had less than the computer, because the computer exceeded 21, then the player wins. Now there can be a case where, so it looks to be working fine. There can be a case where everyone exceeds, let's say 20, 21. So let's try this and see if we get one of those. Hit yes. And player 1 with a total of 17, computer had 22. So again, over here, I had 17. It's less than 22, but because the computer exceeded 21, I won. And if you don't see one of those cases, we'll just add it here, and then that should fix it. But keep rolling. You're just rolling your total value so far is 22. So I know that I'm out already. When I hit yes, it's not going to roll again. It says computer 1 with a total of 18, player had 22. Okay, so that's accurate. The computer didn't exceed 21. So that's fine. Let's keep trying, hoping to see a case where both of them are over 21. Okay, so it's not coming. All right. so far it seems to work. In the other case is when both of them exceed 21. It's possible because when, for example, both of them are 20, and you roll again, let's for example, if both of them are 21, 21, or 21 or 22, 22, before it checks here, for example, let's see. I'm trying to use a tangible example. If, for example, both of them are 21, 21, over here, it's going to pass because both of them are less than or equal to 21. The player is going to roll, the computer is going to roll, right? And it's going to be over 21. Both of them are going to be over 21. Very likely that they're going to be over 21. And when that's the case, they're both going to be over 20, 21. So in that case, none of these conditions are going to be true. So let's have an else block for a case like that and say no one won or something. A case, let's just have a system that's out that prints a statement and say it was no one won, or basically everyone was both players were over 21. All right, wow, this program was a bit rough, not because it was hard, it was a bit unclear, and also with that error that I had that took me a while to figure out. So far, it seems to be working. The most important thing we can get from this is how to create the classes, both the die, the player, and then the main class. Now, based on your understanding of the question, change this around to suit it. For me, I think this is a good starting point to solve this question. To me, as far as it's concerned, it's solved. As far as this question is concerned, and the way I understand it, it's solved because it's doing what it wants the program to do, what it's requiring us to do. It's doing the program is doing just that. But if, for example, there's more to it, go ahead and change it. The most important thing is we have the classes down. We have a good idea of what the question is requiring, and we've done majority of it, if not all of it, because I think to me you're done. But like I said, we know how to do this, so we can change things around. And if there's any modifications, just change things around to suit you. Now, this program was a bit rough. I apologize for the roughness, but I'm glad if we learned anything from it. Although it's a bit rough, I'm glad if we learned from it. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. If you have any questions, comment down below, and I'll do everything to respond to them. And I'll see you next time with the next program. All right then. Bye-bye.